So, a very good evening to everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar. So, today the topic is how to give a baby safe bath. Like we all know, in children, the is a very a major component of giving child bath. And in India, especially in our country, we practice many different practices. We practice many ways of giving the child bath. So now we will concentrate on the fact how to give a baby safe bath. Before starting today's lecture, I would like to thank Dr. N. Somu, Dr. Balachandran, and Dr. Subramaniam. They are in the Institute of Child Health in Chennai, Department of Pediatric Pulmonology, for their research and publications regarding child bath. And my guide, Dr. Sudhakar Shetty, had got the opportunity to work with Dr. N. Somu. So I'd like to thank these doctors today before starting our lecture. Now, starting with our lecture, in our country, we have a traditional way of giving babies bath, and this photo can sum it up. If you look at this image, you will see mostly in the Indian houses how a baby is given bath, the traditional Indian way, and we will see the do's and don'ts and the benefits and disadvantages of this type of bath. Now, today, whatever we're going to study is going to be from the teachings and learnings in the last 30 years that we're using at Baby Friend Clinic on how to give a baby a safe bath. Now, in today's webinar, we will study first what is a faulty baby bath technique, diseases, injuries, complications arising from this faulty baby bath, and the correct way of giving baby bath. Talking about the first component, that is faulty baby bath, the first thing that the mistake that we do is frequent and daily head bath. I repeat, it is frequent and daily head bath. Frequent and daily, you have to give a body bath. You have to keep the baby fresh every day. But a frequent and daily head bath should not be given. Why it should not be given will be explained in the further slides. Installation of oil. In India, we have a habit of instilling oil in the eyes, ears, nose, and all over the face before giving the baby bath. And this is mostly done by the traditional dais or the workers who we call in our homes to give the baby bath, or the elder people. They use this method of instilling oils in the nose, ears, and eyes, and why this should not be done will be explained. Removing nose secretions by blowing into the nose. The workers or the dais who come to a house, they try to blow into the nose to remove the secretion. That should not be done. Removing mouth secretions. They use their finger and they take a mouth swab to remove all the mouth secretions. And last, especially in some states and some cultures, they, after giving the baby bath, they try to put smoke on the baby's body. And why this should not be done will be explained. So these all are the components of faulty baby bath. That should not be done. As doctors, we must not suggest our patients to follow this, because in our country, in India, we mostly follow this. Everything is being done. If you must have seen small children in your home, in your neighborhood, you will see them going through this process of frequent head bath, instilling oil, removing nose secretion, removing mouth secretions, and inhalation of smoke. Inhalation of smoke is not practiced regularly, but some cultures, they try to put smoke around the baby after the bath just as they believe, but that should not be done. Now, why frequent and daily headbutt should not be given? If you frequently give headbutt to the baby, what happens? Just because we are applying oil on the head and we apply oil on the face, to remove this oil, we apply so much of water that all this water can go right into the baby's mouth, in the nose. How? Because while giving the baby bath, usually the dyes, they keep the baby in a sleeping position, and when they keep the baby in a sleeping position, all this water enters right into the baby's nose and mouth while giving the baby bath. And if you put oil on the head, just to remove the oil from the head, too much of water is applied, and when this water is applied on the head, there is a chance of aspiration. This water can go into the baby's lungs, because the baby cannot tell you to stop. If you look in your image, if you look at the image in your slide now, this is the traditional way how Indians we give bath. If in this condition, the child is not even knowing where to see, the child cannot tell you also, no, the child is only crying, but we feel that the child is happy. But no, by instilling so much soap and so much oil on the child's head, while removing this soap, this dye, without having knowledge of aspiration or whether the water will go inside the child's nose, will put so much of water on the head that the child will aspirate this water. Water going into chest when you put the water on the head and face to remove the oil shampoo, as I explained you. And this will lead to such patients coming to your clinic with frequently occurring pneumonia. These patients will have a past history of frequently occurring pneumonia. Why? Because same reason, because of the aspiration. So to avoid this frequently occurring pneumonia and to avoid the hospitalization, to avoid medicines, we must first advise our patients not to do oil powder kajal massage on the head and on the face. This should not be done. Now, there is instillation of oil into the ears, eyes, and nose of the child. We all, in India, we feel oil is the first medicine that should be given for any condition. So there's a belief that to use oil everywhere. So when this oil is used into the ears, eyes, and nose, this oil can cause infection to the child, because this oil is always a home used oil or outside oil, and this oil can be a foreign body to the child, and this oil itself can be aspirated by the child. You can see the dye in your picture. She has oiled her hands and she's just putting oil on the face, and while putting oil on the face, this oil will definitely go into the nose, and this oil is called as foreign body. So these children have foreign body aspiration. This will lead to cold, sneezing, rhinitis, or even pneumonia, as I explained you, if it enters into the lung. So these children, always you'll see some babies having frequent pneumonia. Like every 3 months, their mothers will come and tell you they have chest congestion, they have to be hospitalized, they have to be given treatment. Then you have to ask in the history, how do you bathe your child? Once you change their bathing pattern, then you will see this child falls sick less. If there are many homeopaths here, so if you see in homeopathy, Dr. Hahnemann has told remove the maintaining cause of the disease. The maintaining cause is this. This type of practices are the maintaining cause. Okay, now going ahead. See, mostly these babies end up having right lower lobe pneumonia due to aspiration. So infants, you'll always see if they have, if infant comes with a chest X-ray of a right lower lobe pneumonia, always suspect aspiration and ask the parent that how do they bathe their child. Normally, parents come to the doctor and ask why my child is sick, why does my child fall sick every time, and usually what the answer is given by the doctors is infection, immunity. No, but if you go back to the bathing history of the child, you can tell them if every day I take a child, I put him on my legs in a sleeping position, and every day I put oil on his face, every day to remove the oil, I put water on his face. Obviously, he breathes, he will aspirate it, he'll aspirate the oil, water, and slowly he'll develop this right lower lobe pneumonia. Now, by blowing into the nose, usually once the dye puts oil into the nose, they try to blow in the nose. And while blowing into the nose, they are instantly putting the oil back more into the tract, which should not be done. Again, it causes pneumonia. If you see this image, she's she's trying to massage the nose, but you can also see how much fun the baby is having. The baby is not at all enjoying this process. Unfortunately, babies cannot open their mouth. Even as adults, if you just tell someone to catch our face and do like this to us for more than 2 minutes, we will not like it. You can see the baby is not at all comfortable. But according to a traditional belief, we feel this has to be done. We feel as Indian parents, we always feel that if we don't do this to our child, we are doing less. We feel every child has to be given a royal bath like this, but no, you have to give your baby a safe bath, not a royal bath, because by giving such bath, this baby will fall sick every time. And we blame immunity. Immunity is weak, but there's no role of immunity. We ourselves are adding a maintaining cause for his disease. This guy, after putting oil, she's trying to wipe the oil and trying to put her finger till here to wipe. But this will only put the oil behind, and obviously the baby is not comfortable by this process. This should not be done. Now again, giving smoke to the baby. Some cultures, after giving the baby a nice bath, after warming, after just wrapping and wiping the baby, they want to keep the baby warm and dry. So they give a smoke aroma type. But that smoke can cause allergy to the child. It can cause allergic rhinitis, and even not only the child, the person who's giving the baby bath also can have problem with that smoke. Okay, so that should not be done. There are many diseases, injuries, and complications of faulty bath. Many diseases, injuries, and complications of faulty bath. The first is pneumonia, as we have explained. Burning eyes. If you put that smoke, this child will always have conjunctivitis. Recurrent cold and cough. Obviously, if there is oil around the nose and you keep putting water in this position, there will obviously be recurrent cold and cough. Oil massage will lead to skin rash and eczema. Even if this child is having infantile eczema, the first advice is to stop oil massage, because this can lead to eczema, this can lead to a skin rash. and injury to the cervical bones during massage. Now you have paid your massager for your child to come and give your baby a bath. That massager, without having basic knowledge of human anatomy, will try to flex and to get abduct and adduct the child's limbs, and she'll also try to hold the child's neck. You can see in this image they're trying to massage, and but this can lead to cervical, this can cause injury to the cervical bones. So hence this should also not be practiced. How the baby should be given bath will be explained in the further slide. But first it is important what not to do. So I'm sure you must have known what all not to do by now. Simple practices. It is practiced in every household in our country. These all small things causes recurrent infection. It is written that more than 60% of cases of pneumonia that come up because of these faulty practices, and they can be avoided by just advising our patients. Normally, in medicine, we try to always treat the patient with medicine, but if you counsel the parents, they will be very happy that you have told them the uh, disadvantage of giving such a bath, because they are in the notion. Because elders usually tell their children that you have to give a bath like this and you have to instill oil and all that, but actually there's no scientific evidence regarding putting oil on the head and closing of the fontanel. Not at all, it does not help. So you should not suggest such things. Now again, you have paid your dai to do a massage for a child, so she's she's enthusiastic, she doesn't know anything, and we feel they are very trained in this field, but actually they are not trained, they are just doing the job. She is trying to pull the child's elbow by just doing something, and this will only lead to dislocation of the elbow, shoulder, hip joint while bending their joints while massaging. So this will only lead to a child to a pediatric orthopedic doctor, where there will be some problems. This should not be practiced. She has applied complete soap. She has put the child's head under her feet, and then now she is just trying to lift his arms. Uh, One day, tomorrow morning, when we wake up, we just try to do our arms behind and tell someone to come behind and pull your arms for 10 seconds. Just see how we feel as adults. So you can't do that to a child. The child is only crying, and we feel we are doing justice, but this should not be done. Again, the dyes or the traditional workers, they feel that if you try to put oil here and by tapping the fontanelles, the fontaines close fast, but this tapping can only lead to intracranial hemorrhage. This should not be done. Again, the oil, usually people try to leave oil wherever they find opening, they try to leave the oil there, so it will cause infection of the umbilicus, leading to umbilical sepsis. Again, putting oil into the ears can cause ear infection, swelling of the tissue into the umbilicus causing umbilical granuloma. And then, as I said, smoke can cause conjunctivitis. Again, when you apply so much of oil, again you have already used so much of your time to apply oil to the child, so you just maybe you concentrate so much on the head and face that you'll forget to apply proper water over the armpits and the groins, and this can lead to fungal infection on the skin and hair due to leftover oil. Once you have applied oil, but that you'll forget to wipe that oil or to clean that oil, and that can cause infection. Now, I'm sure you must have seen the wrong way of giving birth. So many years we have seen this happening in our country, but we always feel that is the correct way. But as doctors, we must not promote that, and we must explain the patient that it can lead to pneumonia, all the problems to the child. After you explain the parents that what is the disadvantage of giving a traditional bath to the child, then the parent will ask you, okay, so how should I give a baby bath? How should I give my baby bath? So the correct way of giving bath is, first point, head bath. Now we have told that everyday head bath is not required. Why? Because every day if you expose the child head to water, there is a risk of aspiration. So how will you give head bath? Head bath at least once or twice a week using the shampoo or soap, but only 1 to 2 drops. Not like how I showed you the image where she's gone for head bath, but the shampoo has come here, just to show that she's done her job. Usually, when you pay these people to come and give your child a bath, they want to show that they're doing a job. So they will put everything extra. But who will suffer? The child will suffer. So if you want to give head bath, you have to do it once or twice a week. And while giving head bath, very important suggestion is that once I apply shampoo over the baby's head and I'm putting water, you try to put the baby little backward. Put the water and let the water fall backward. I repeat, let the water fall backward. Don't put water like just some flowing something, like your water is coming like that and the child is sitting and all the water will come on the nose and again he'll aspirate. So let the water fall backward. Okay? Putting water on the head. Usually what happens when we put soap for the child, even in our own life, when you put soap on the whole body, we put water on the head. Even if you want to clean your leg, Usually, if you put water on the head and the water comes down and cleans your body. Even for children, their body is so small. So to clean their chest, the abdomen, the limbs also, the mouthpiece and the eyes try to put water on the head only. Again, they are not helping the child. So if you want to clean the abdomen, clean the arms, clean the legs, put water only there. Don't put water on the head and let the water flow. You should tell your advise your patient like that. Do not instill oil. As again, oil is our favorite medicine, so we try to put oil everywhere in our life. So don't put oil. They try to instill oil in the ears, say no. In the nose, say no. In the mouth also say no. You don't have to do that. So we missed one slide. Mouth secretions. Mouth secretions. Now you see this image. This Dai has tried to clean the mouth. And what is she doing? She is choking now the child by doing this. This is frequently done in the traditional bath. They try to put their finger into the mouth and take a swab, and what do they feel they are cleaning? But first thing they are putting their fingers into the mouth. They are first introducing infection into a baby's mouth. This is the reason why these children, even though these children are given they are given breastfeeding. So whenever a child is on exclusive breastfeeding, there are very minimal chances of this child suffering from bacterial diarrhea. I repeat, whenever this child is only given breastfeeding, there is a minimal chance of bacterial diarrhea. Why? Because they are not exposed. But because of these practices, these children have bacterial diarrhea, and they straight away the water which is in the mouth when you put your finger will straight away go inside, and you are gagging the child. See, this child is gagging here in front of your image. This should not be done. The child is suffering here. Always go by the child's face. See, she's trying to take a swab from his mouth. The child is suffering, so this should not be done. So the correct way of giving bath: do not instill oil, as we explained. You do not have to instill oil everywhere. Restrict oil to 2 to 5 drops on joints and massage lightly. For example, now as a doctor, you have suggested the parents. The parents are young, they are educated, they understand, and they decide that they are not going to use oil. But when they go home, they have their mother-in-law, they have their mother, father-in-law who have told them that we have used the same oil for you and today you are healthy. So use it for your child also. So just for their happiness and for to satisfy the ego of the who want to put oil, put 2 to 5 drops of oil. Take 2 to 5 drops of oil and jointly massage the limbs and jointly massage the limbs just for the just to maintain the happiness for baby also, for the Dai also, and for the elders also. Just do that just to satisfy everyone. But putting oil over the whole body is not suggested. And by putting oil to and once you put oil to remove that water is a cumbersome task. So you can do that. And again, no smoke application. So the correct way of giving birth is very simple. Today's topic was very simple, and it is so simple that it is so very easy to forget and very easy to ignore. Sometimes while sitting in our practice, we always think of giving medicines, giving various medicines, diagnosis and all. But if you just practice on these few principles, if you remove the maintaining cause of the disease, the disease will not occur. The child has come from another doctor, come for your treatment, but if you he has already got 3 times pneumonia and the fourth time is come to you. Again, fourth time you are a good doctor, you will treat the child. But if you do not advise how to give a bath and how to stop the recurrence, fifth, sixth time again the child will have pneumonia and go to another doctor where he will suggest the correct way. So this is very important. This forms a major, even more than medicine are these advices for how to give a baby bath. So it's a very simple topic. It is so simple that you will easily forget to advise your patient, because whenever a patient comes, you think about medicine, but first think about all these things. Now, we have finished with the topic, but one last advice that you should always give your patients: daily sunlight for 15 minutes on the back. Daily sunlight for 15 minutes on the back. Breastfeeding, exclusively breastfeeding for 6 months, and after 6 months you have to start complementary feeding. But along with that complementary feeding, you have to also give breastfeeding up to 2 years. Exclusive breastfeeding till 6 months, but after 6 months start the complementary foods. But your breastfeeding should continue till 2 years of age. You should not stop at 6 months. Infrequent head bath, that means you have to give head bath once or twice a week. That's more than enough. Without oil will go a long way in reducing infant morbidity and mortality, which is always suggested by my guy Dr. Sudhakar Shetty in his clinic. There are many interns who have worked under him. Will always have this one suggestion which you should give all your patients, because this one line seems to be very simple, but it carries value in the sense giving daily sunlight for 15 minutes. Why? Because this child, the breast milk that a child is for the first 6 months lacks vitamin D. So the daily requirement of vitamin D is 400 international units, which we give through supplementation. But the natural source is sunlight. So daily you have to give 15 minutes sunlight, breastfeeding, and infrequent head bath without oil will go a long way in reducing infant morbidity and mortality. So we finished with today's lecture. It was a very short lecture, and we have finished 3 topics in our Friday webinars: the febrile seizure, the breastfeeding, and now how to give a baby safe bath. For all the new doctors who have joined us, we'll send the link of the old lectures. And thank you for joining. Thank you all for joining. We're finished with today's lecture.